Hi baking friends, it's Hart Hoffman, the editor-in-chief of Bake From Scratch magazine, and I am so excited to be baking apple cream cheese brioche tartlets with you today. These are perfect for your autumn baking, and anyone you make them for will absolutely love them. I guarantee it. Now, I'm starting with the same dough and filling that was used to make an apple cream cheese brioche tart, a bigger version of this, and that recipe and all the ingredients can be found at redstaryeast.com/platinum. Because today, I'm just going to focus on shaping and making these tartlets so you can see the variation from the original recipe that I made. I am using platinum yeast from Red Star, and I promise it is what you need in your pantry to have perfect yeast baking in your kitchen. With dough strengtheners and a little bit of oomph, this is the perfect yeast for your pantry, and I hope you're going to stock up and bake with us. Now, I'm going to start with telling you a little bit about what I'm going to do with these tartlets after I make them, because I always think about the end result in the kitchen. That brings the joy and the happiness, and it's my platinum moment. So when I make the big tart, it's easy to share at the table with family and friends. But making these little tartlets, it's perfect for giving and sharing. So today, when these are done, I'm stopping by my neighbors and dropping them off just so they can enjoy the sweet baking that I love in my own kitchen. So perfect for sharing. I hope you'll consider doing that as well. And of course, save some for yourself. It's worth enjoying too, just so you know. All right, so I'm starting with a dough that I've already made, had the first rise, punched down. It's been sitting for 10 minutes, resting, and now it's ready to make its way into tartlet land. But you are going to love this dough. It's an enriched dough, and of course, you know, platinum yeast from Red Star is taking center stage, along with some granulated sugar, light brown sugar, milk, eggs, vanilla extract, and butter. It's so good. Tell me when that doesn't sound good on its own, but it's going to be even better with the apples and the filling. You're going to love it. So I'm starting with my dough here, and I'm just going to turn it out onto my kitchen counter. So I'm using a bowl scraper. It's perfect for getting the dough out in one piece and onto the counter. And then you need to have your scale ready, because we weigh everything for precision. I'm going to divide the dough into 9 equal portions. That's 54 grams each. But for today, I'm just going to show you a few pieces, and then I will ensure to show you every step along the way. But I just want to show you the shaping first for one. Ooh, I'm at 58. I was so close. So I'm just taking my bench scraper here and cutting a little bit off. 51. Add a little bit back. There we go. Now I'm going to do one more portion for you. 50. See, and then you just take your bench scraper, cut a little bit of the dough, and add it. All right. Now, as you divide the dough, keep some plastic wrap or something handy that will prevent the dough from drying out as you work with the other portions. So I would have all of them under the plastic, but for right now, I'm just going to show you this one for shaping and how to get the tartlets underway. So I'm taking my dough, and I'm just going to start by tucking everything to the underside. So if you have any small pieces that you cut to get to the right weight, just tuck it to the underside of the dough. And then on the surface, I'm just going to use my hands, and I'm going to roll this into a smooth round. Check the bottom, and if you need to pinch to get the seam completely sealed, go ahead and do that so you have that nice portion of dough. And then I'll use my fingers just to pat this dough into a 3.5-inch round. And you could use a rolling pin if you want to do that, but I find it's easy to do with my hands. And then I'll just check here. A little bit more to go. And this is going to be the base for the tartlet, so you want to make sure you get your dimensions right. So if you need to just take it into your hand and do a little stretching, your goal is just to get to 3.5 inches, knowing that it might shrink back just a little once it's on the baking tray. So once I have my 3.5-inch round, there we are, I would place each portion of the dough on the baking tray, spaced 2.5 to 3 inches apart. And then I'm going to cover them again and let them rise for about 25 minutes. And I'll show you what the right test looks like after they've risen. After 25 minutes, you can see that the tartlet dough is nice and puffed. But then we need for it to pass a ripe test so that we know that it's properly risen and ready for the next stage. So I have a little bit of flour on my finger just because I have some hot hands and I feel like the dough always sticks. So if you need to do that too, feel free to do it in your kitchen as well. And then you'll take your finger and just press into the side of the dough. After you release your finger, it should bounce back slightly but still leave the indent. That's how you know the dough is ready to move on. So now, with my tartlets on the tray, I have a bowl of flour here and I have a small jar. And this jar is about 2 1/4 inch. So you could use a measuring cup, you could use your fingers too. The goal here is to just make a well in the center of the dough so that we can put our filling in. So using the jar with just a little bit of flour on it, I'm going to center this in the middle of the dough and I'm going to press down just to get a nice ring of dough around the side. And if it springs back some, that's okay. You can take your fingers and press it back down again. The goal here is to just have a crust edge so that the filling is held inside each of the tartlets. So just use your fingers to get that space nice and defined before you add the filling. I'll show you one more time as well with this tart here. I'm just taking the jar, pressing down firmly so that I get that nice edge, and then pull the jar away to reveal the center. And again, just using my fingers to make sure that I get this nice. If a little bit of flour is in there, that's okay because the filling is going to absorb that after we've added it to the tart dough. Now this is a filling that is apple pie spice, cream cheese based. The recipe is so easy, you'll love it. It's just adding so much flavor to these tartlets. But I want to get 4 teaspoons into each of the centers. So I'm just going to take a heaping tablespoon here and put a portion in the middle of each of these areas. And then you can use your fingers or you could use a small offset spatula and just smooth that filling into that area that we have made the indentation. So just get a nice smooth surface here. And then after that, you're going to take your roasted apples. I'm going to take about 3 or 4 pieces. And I'm just going to fan them out and place them over the filling here to get that beautiful apple shape sitting on the top. And then everyone will know what flavor these tartlets are. So I'm just going to do 3 here. And you could do this in any way that you want to. I just like fanning them out over the filling so that they're nice and centered. So let me get the rest of these finished and then we'll get an egg wash on them and keep moving. Now this is a simple combination of 1 beaten egg and 1 tablespoon of water. And I'm just taking a pastry brush and I'm going to brush the edges. So the parts of the dough that you can still see need to be brushed with an egg wash. Now as I look at this, and I told you that this dough is so amazing, I'm imagining all the different ways that I could fill it. So I could put a pastry cream and fresh strawberries in there. I could do a frangipane with blueberries and some lemon zest. The possibilities are almost endless. So be creative and do something that sounds good to you, and you are going to love these. So I'll just show you here with the 2 that I've done with the egg wash, that then you want to take some Swedish pearl sugar, and I love using Swedish pearl sugar as a garnish. It gives such a beautiful crust and crunch and a nice sweet bite that really complements the apples and the filling, and it just looks really good too. So just sprinkle the pearl sugar all around over the egg wash. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at this like already excited. I can't wait for these to come out of the oven. And that's some good news for you too. These bake so quickly. 8 to 10 minutes in a 350-degree oven. You're going to rotate the pan once halfway through baking just to get even browning. But 8 to 10 minutes, that's not long at all. And then you can serve them warm. So no need to wait till completely cool. Or they'll do great at room temperature. These are off to that oven, and then I cannot wait to show you what they look like, and then we're going to dive in and eat them. They smell amazing, they look beautiful, but I'm going to add one final touch before serving. I'm going to apply a thin coat of apricot preserves to the top of the apples just to get a nice glistening shine, and then a little more flavor, so you'll get that nice sweetness. You could also use an apple jelly here or any preserve that you want to add to give a little more flavor. But this gives them the shine. They look like they're sitting in the pastry case in Paris, just ready to be eaten. Keeping one for myself, and then I will get the rest of these ready to take to my neighbors. But first, I can't thank you enough for joining me here today as I made these apple cream cheese brioche tartlets, and I can't wait to see when you make them too. Don't forget, the full recipe and tutorial can be found for the dough and the filling at redstaryeast.com/platinum. So check out the recipe, and again, make it your own, have fun in the kitchen, and be sure to stock up on your platinum yeast from Red Star. In the meantime, I wish you all happy baking, and I'll see you here next time for more fun. Time to eat.